Hi, my name is Deirdre Mersch, and I'm going to take a little bit of time to go over how to draft an essay for you this week. The objective of this short presentation is to review the various ways to draft an essay. The whole point of drafting a paper is to get your ideas on paper from your pre-writing to your outline stages, if you use outlining and pre-writing, and to see what areas you need to focus on. Some people can sit down and write their paper with little to no effort. Others must sit down and write in an organized manner. Still others must try different things depending on the type of assignment and their level of engagement. Every paper should have an introduction, body paragraphs, the amount of which will depend on the content and the requirements of the assignment, and a conclusion. You also need a thesis statement, which identifies what is being addressed in your paper, and it can appear anywhere in your paper, but traditionally it should be the last sentence of your introduction. So that is typically the safest place to put it and where most of your instructors would expect to find it. There are multiple different methods of drafting your paper. Back in high school, you were probably told to write your introduction, your 3 body paragraphs, and your conclusion. That is how your paper should read. You should read your introduction, followed by your body paragraphs, and end with your conclusion. But that is not necessarily how you must write your paper. Remember to be flexible and to try different methods of writing. If you struggle to write because you never knew how to start your paper, then don't start with your introduction. Make a note of what your thesis is and start writing other sections of your paper. You can also jump around when you get stuck on paragraphs. Simply leave a note and come back and finish that section later. That's something I like to do. I tend to jump around. Eventually, everything's going to tie together. When you think you're done, you go back, review your paper and your thesis statement. If your paper does not align to your thesis statement, you can simply adjust your thesis statement to fit your paper. Once the body of your paper is written, then you can go back and do your introduction, because the hard part, which is introducing your topic, at least for me, isn't hard anymore since I know what I'm going to say already. In reality, despite the fact that we were taught that we have to write our introduction, then our body paragraphs, and then our conclusion, that's not really the case. In reality, your instructors, your professors, we don't care how your paper is written, outside of plagiarism, honestly. We simply care that it was written. If it works better for you to write out of order, if it works better for you to plan out every single step of the way, if it works better for you to write backwards, I'll get into that later, that's fine. The final product will be introduction, body paragraphs, conclusion. How you get to that organization is entirely dependent on what works best for you. Another big thing that can hurt us while we're writing is that many of us tend to review while we write. So just take a moment to think back. When you're writing a sentence or a paragraph, how many times do you stop, go back and read what you've written, and then start fixing it before you move on? If you get stuck on your writing and are discouraged because you can never seem to move past those first few sentences, consider, are you doing that? Are you trying to correct all your mistakes before you move on to the next topic? If you are, stop. Just stop doing that. Reviewing and fixing is for the editing and reviewing stage of the writing process. The drafting stage is for you to simply get your ideas out on paper and to draft out your thoughts. The areas you are concerned about can wait. If you stop and fix those things, you are preventing yourself from hitting that flow of writing that will help you finish your paper. Start writing, and don't worry about any mistakes you have made until after you've finished writing your draft. I promise you, those mistakes will still be there when you're done, plus others that you have missed while you were trying to fix everything and make it perfect the first time around. Also, when you're done with your draft, you can use various resources available to you, such as our Writing Center or the free version of Grammarly if you don't want to pay for it, which can help you fix things in a very amazing and beautiful way. Ultimately, there is no right way to draft an essay. You can start at the introduction and work your way through to the conclusion. You can jump around. You can even work backwards. Seriously. I had a student who started with the conclusion and worked his way back to the introduction. It makes absolutely no sense to me, but it worked for him. And as long as the process works for you, then it's the right process for you. As long as the final product you are using for peer editing and submission follows the organization of your introduction, body paragraphs, and conclusion, the order in which you start to write is completely up to you. So thanks so much for your time, and I hope this presentation was helpful. Have a great day, and don't forget to reach out with any questions.